We're finally back in Alabama, and the rundown from Cletus & Cars Bristol is we broke a coolant temperature sensor changing out some spark plugs, so we didn't get to make a run at Bristol. We sat in the parking lot trying to figure out why the thing wouldn't run. Apparently when the coolant temperature sensor breaks off, the injectors just hose down the cylinders, and it's not like a diesel where it'll run with a lot of fuel. It won't run at all. So we had that issue. We got back from Cletus & Cars Bristol, figured that out. It was like, oh, okay. Then we went to LS Fest, and we ended up spending most of the time at LS Fest trying to tune the 75 and get that thing done. The guys over at HP Tuners let us borrow their wideband, which was the most insane wideband I've ever seen in my life. Basically, though, LS Fest was a whole bunch of politics and whatnot, and we were there. We displayed the truck. That's all we went to do. Worked out great. Now, that being said, we are back. I say we're back. There's no 75. The 75 is still in Georgia because I don't have a truck to pull it with, and it doesn't run good enough to be able to drive it down the road on its own. There's that. But we've got the 67. We've got the old motor out of the 67, and something in there went kapooey. It melted pistons and some other stuff. But we're building another motor, which is a stock turbo kind of deal, to put back into the 67. So hopefully that'll get done getting built today. And then I've got to change out the idler arm, pitman arm, whatever the crap that thing's called. Motor's built-ish. I got to put those injectors, the connectors back onto the valve cover, put the upper valve cover on, put the injector lines in it. And I think that's it for that side. I got to put the accessory drives onto it, which are sitting over there, and then I can take this, put it into here. We have our beautiful FTI converter. Yep, that's there. We also ended up, I guess the transmission decided that it didn't like us, and that's all transmission fluid. So Cody Hawk from Hawk's Diesel Performance got me a deep pan with new filters and stuff. Still trying to figure out where I stand with the guys from DHD. Like, I buy their stuff, but they don't want to acknowledge that I exist. But that's beside the point. We've got a motor to put this thing back together. We got a transmission pan to put onto this thing. And yeah, we're going to work on getting the motor in, and then we will probably start making content with that again. We're going to take that over to Atlanta, Georgia to get the 75, because that's where the 75 is currently at. But in order to make that happen, I got to put the motor into it. I got to put the steering stuff back into it. I got to put rear brakes on it. I got to fix whatever's going on with the bed. I got to fix all the bent body mounts. Probably need to get some lights going for it too. And a good cleaning somewhere in there. We're going to put the hostiles back on it because I think those look the best. And yeah, we'll be back on the road in like a week, maybe. I also want to do a compound kit for this motor. Even though this motor is actually meant for the guys at BTW Racing, it's meant for Jake's Impala project. So stock turbo, because that turbo is gonna have to come off, and he's gonna switch it over to some custom manifolds and some other stuff. But for right now, that turbo will work. It's a stock rod motor. It's a LBZ bottom end essentially. It's got some mall pistons in it. It's got some trick stuff done with the pistons, stock injectors, stock heads. It's basically stock. Oh yeah, you can see we've ported the intake horn for the turbo, because believe it or not, those things are incredibly restrictive. That being said, I'm going back to work, but I figured I'd give you all an update as to what in the world is going on, and there is that. So wait till we post the next thing. I know I haven't said anything about what's happening with the 67 on the Instagram or Tickety Talk or Facebook, because, well, I'm trying to get YouTube moving, so y'all know what's happening with it. The rest of the world doesn't. But doodles.